I'm Sharmistha Kar, a visual practicing artist, and originally I'm from India and currently living in Canada, practicing my art. I started doing the same form, the whole parallelogram of a tent, repeatedly on big tarps and on fabric, on paper. In this exhibition, that form was also using different embroidery techniques, some of them having banka in it and plain run stitch, which is used in kantha. Banka is a Japanese needlework where it forms a loop, and it's very fragile technique, it can dismantle very easily. I chose tent for some of my works as an image, and also I thought of the material. So that is industrially produced tarpaulin. And then needlework, which I did by hand and it is handmade. So that contrast, industrially produced surface, which looked like oven, but I did a needlework on that, and I wanted to create that the area to think like how does it feel that two different type of labor in industry. There is also labor by making by hand an image on that surface also has a labor. So it's all about human hour, human labor. But what happens when those two different layer labor comes in one surface? And then those two works on tarpaulin, one is not interactive and other one has that interactive aspect from viewers, that what they feel when they interact with that act of needlework and they are basically undoing that form. So there is also certain sense of labor and giving them that opportunity to experience that labor that I do on that surface to create that form. Here in Canada, people, when they hear tent, mostly either it's from a recreational perspective or different political situation that people live in those tents. But for me, it was from migration, from a way that I have experienced seeing migrating workers who came to their workplace and lived in those tents. The tent came to me when I was living in Hyderabad in India around 2012, 13. So, in that journey from home to my workplace, I used to see that tent, which dominantly they use the blue tarp, even from far, and it's like blue dots amongst green or mountain or any locality. And that was a striking experience for me, and probably it was a sign that city was changing very quickly and constructing buildings, new buildings. And many of us know that Hyderabad is also another city which has a strong IT companies. So there was a different demand, I believe, and that was probably the reason to have this major construction in the city. I started visiting those tents. And even though some people talk in Hindi and some people talk the local language, which I wasn't very familiar, but they did talk in Hindi. And sometimes we didn't even talk, but we talked through gesture. And but they are here just for working in a construction site. And sometimes they live in these tents after years and years, because they just move from one tent to another one, or one location of construction to the another location. So they don't go back to their village or from wherever they come from for years. I started working just to acknowledge those people, who contribute to the construction of a house, and they live in those tents, and they are the first people who are part of that big house or the apartment in India. But they don't live in those apartments, they move to another place to construct another home. And I was just trying to connect with those people, how they might have felt the whole idea of home in while they are in those tents.